Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, and I'm feeling pretty damn good today. I won't lie to you. Why? Oh, it's another Xbox news video. Yeah, of course. We've had such a busy week already. First week, 3 Xbox news videos. But what I'm also very excited about is what's branded across my chest. If I could burn this into my skin, I would. That's right. Revan and Malik duking it out. So I'm feeling pretty good because the shirt's a part of me, right? I am Revan. Well, that's my dog. But anyway, I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we've got some exciting Xbox news to get into. A brand new support studio revealed by accident. On top of that, we also have news on Playground Games. They launched arguably the biggest game of 2021 last year, and there's been a significant departure over there. And last but certainly not least, Halo Infinite. There are some changes on the back end when it comes to progression with the newest event. We got to highlight that. So if you're new here and you're into Xbox information and news, then you are covered. Subscribe. With that, let's get into it. But first, a word from our sponsor. All right, take a look at me. Does that look like a really good Halo player to you? I mean, maybe. I don't think so. And that all changed when I got my hands on the Thrustmaster eSwap X Pro controller. All right, we've raved about this one a ton. Let's go back to the footage here. We're going back to the tapes. We're taking a look at this Halo Infinite gameplay. And look at the kills I'm racking up now. Look how different the gameplay is when I don't gotta take my thumb off the right analog stick. I don't have to worry about all that aiming and then jumping over to the face buttons and then going back to it. I have the advantage. I have the edge. This is how you become a hardcore competitive gamer, through Thrustmaster with the eSwap X Pro controller. But in all seriousness, this has helped me a lot with first-person shooters as I get on a little bit in age and my reactions slow down. Having the buttons on the back be mapped to the face buttons allows me to just focus on a couple things at a time. But not only that, it's highly customizable. I said this to the point of redundancy, but there is starting to be an effect on me. I do like toying around with the colors my controller are. So if you're all interested in that, then all you got to do is click one link in the description right down below. Starting off with an article from the boys and girls of lordsofgaming.net. Shout out to them. Salute to my co-host Cog of Defining Duke. This article is titled, Undead Labs Might Have a New Support Studio. As originally uncovered by well-known Xbox insider Clobril, it appears that Undead Labs has opened a new studio to help support the development of State of Decay 3. This information was discovered in a LinkedIn bio from Simon Scher, a longtime animation director for EA who has recently joined the Undead Labs team. In his official job listing, it details a new support studio that is based in Florida. Quote, developing a new Microsoft studio under Undead Labs in Orlando, Florida, directing animation and animation technology in Unreal Engine 5 for Microsoft Xbox Game Studios Undead Labs State of Decay 3, and fostering cross-studio animation technology, collaboration, and animation technology initiatives across Xbox Game Studios. So, a lot of exciting things here. Number one is, I gotta say that out of a lot of the Xbox game studios that we talk about, I do think that Undead Labs ranks in that top 3 most slept on. I think that they deserve a lot more credit for what they did with the State of Decay franchise. I mean, we're talking about an Xbox Live Arcade launch game that then turned into a sequel with 5+ million players by 2019, undoubtedly much more since then. And now, in 2022, we're talking about a State of Decay 3, which, based off Unreal Engine 5, is likely next-gen exclusive, and they're having a new support studio open. I mean, what a great story, and what a great find by Xbox. And it's, again, the beauty of the Xbox Live Summer Arcade. Bring it back, man. Look what you discovered through this constantly. Like, bring it back. But I digress. Great to see Undead Labs expanding. Interesting to see State of Decay 3 being possibly a next-gen exclusive title. I know it's not always guaranteed with Unreal Engine 5, but I think it's a safe assumption given the, I'd say, distance we have from State of Decay 3 and the engine they're using. But cool stuff nonetheless, and congrats to Undead Labs, even if this seems to have not been planned to be announced. Here it is in a LinkedIn profile with a new hire. With that, let's move on to our next big bit of news here. We're talking about Forza. So, like I said, Forza Horizon 5. We're talking about one of the biggest games of 2021, possibly the biggest. We don't, as of this moment of time of recording this, have the numbers for Halo Infinite on a player count level in total, like we did with something like Forza Horizon, where it surpassed 10 million players, and Phil Spencer really beat his chest and went like, yeah, That's right, most played Xbox Game Studios title ever. Did Halo Infinite surpass that? We don't know. So as of this moment in time, Forza Horizon 5 is the biggest game of 2021 when it comes to Xbox. And now it appears that their co-founder and studio head is saying sayonara. Here's the article from Windows Central Gaming, titled Playground Games co-founder Trevor Williams is set to replace Gavin Rayburn as studio head. Announced today, Microsoft and Playground Games revealed Gavin Rayburn, who served as studio director and co-founder for the past 12 years, is leaving the company. General manager and partner co-founder Trevor Williams will step up as studio head in Rayburn's place. Microsoft's CVP of Forza and Fable, Alan Hartman, shared the message with us below. Quote, after 12 years working on 5 award-winning Forza Horizon games, Gavin Rayburn is leaving Playground Games as studio director. A founding member of Playground Games, we thank Gav for his leadership and contributions to the Forza franchise and wish him all the best. Co-founder Trevor Williams will transition from general manager to studio head effective immediately as the Playground Games team focuses on updates to Forza Horizon 5 and the development of Fable, end quote. Okay, so it seems like this is a smooth, good departure. Again, we like to celebrate these things. I said this with Halo Infinite and the narrative director departing and saying like, hey, this was the best project I've ever worked on. A lot of emotions here. Seeing congratulations and happiness for the exit is amazing to see, because for those who don't pay attention, I made a video about this last year. BioWare had a recent exit of a guy who worked there for 20 plus years, Matt Goldman. And when he left, like, no tweets, no employees going, oh, we're gonna miss you. No real write-ups or anything other than like Matt Goldman will be leaving BioWare, and that was it from the studio GM. So I think now is a good time to start highlighting like when there is a significant departure, because oftentimes I see the media twisting it into something negative constantly because it just drums up the controversy, and of course it drums up the clicks. I understand all that. Still, a big congrats is due to Gavin, who did a phenomenal job turning Playground Games into arguably the top Xbox game studio underneath the umbrella for Xbox. I mean, they had the most consistent output, and they carried Xbox during that Xbox One gen with the Coalition. I mean, that was a dark time, and really the few bright spots you'd find were in Forza Horizon. So congrats to Gavin. He's, as the article said, a bit of an industry legend dating back to the Commodore 64. So he's been around the industry since the 80s. I think it's time for a well-earned retirement after giving most of his life to gaming. So thank you, Gavin. Appreciate you. And hey, just know, Forza Horizon 5, it made me bend the knee. And that says something, right? So with that, we move on to our last bit of news. We're talking about Halo Infinite. So Halo Infinite had this new event called the Fractured Tenrai event. And with the Battle Pass and with the frustrations, with the woes of it all, a lot of people were groaning when it was coming back because there were still some things to be addressed. I think 343 has done a good job putting some band-aids on the progression, saying like, hey, you get X amount of XP for your first match, your second match, and making sure the player's getting more and more and more without necessarily over-delivering. With that said, now the Fractured Tenrai event is back for this week in January, and it seems to be much improved. I wanted to spotlight that in today's video. So first things first is, rather than 7 challenges, you're actually going to have 10 as a part of the weekly challenge slots. Also, they're going to alternate with non-event challenges, which means you're always going to have at least one Tenrai challenge to be working towards. And this can make it where, obviously, completing the Tenrai event is a lot easier. That's just all the players really ask for, is like, make it feasible to complete this. Because what a lot of folks were concerned about with the Tenrai event is that if you didn't show up during that week and completed all your challenges for that week, then by the time the event ended, if you were not available every single week doing everything, then you would not have got all the rewards for it. And now there's still a time limit, but it's just not as crunchy, and you can miss a little bit of time. You don't have to live in Halo Infinite. You know, remember that FOMO that they said they didn't want to prey on? That type of thing that they were actually doing? They're kind of walking back on that a little bit more, which, again, is very good. Also, for those who don't remember, you'd get a lot of like XP boosts and items through the Battle Pass, and now they're more cosmetically driven from about level 10 or so and onwards. So you'll be getting the, that's right, visual stuff. So even if you don't complete it, you'll be getting most of the stuff your character can wear, which is good. Obviously, there's a way to go with customization in Halo Infinite. A lot of people want to mix and match parts, like put some Tenrai stuff on the Reach armor, yada, yada, yada. And I do think this is a logical next step forward, because you'll get new pauldrons, but it'll be on this set of armor that you're not wearing. You're like, I don't want to wear that, so I'm not going to. But yet you'll see like the mixing and matching in stuff like the armor you can pay for, plus $10 cat ears. So we still have a ways to go, I think, with Halo Infinite. I think we're in the period right now where 343 knows most people have either just accepted it, moved on, or they're just going to shut the door on those who are bitching like me and just keep doing their thing. Because again, once you see $10 cat ears, it reminds me of how I felt with Fallout 76, obviously to a much lesser extent because this is free to play. But with Fallout 76, when they were selling, I think it was a refrigerator, and now they're putting in Fallout First for Fallout First members only, a filing cabinet. A filing cabinet, yeah, and a lot of people told me I sold my soul to shit on that game. They're giving a filing cabinet to those who are a part of the Fallout First membership. So it just reminds me of that, where it's like, wow, this is what we're paying for. Okay. And so cat ears, it's like 10 bucks. Okay. And it's funny because I remember 343 saying they didn't want to go crazy weird with the customization to not make it distracting and pretty much not Halo. But as you see with some of the Master Chief Collection pieces of armor, like the more Asgardian themed ones, and you can wear a Duke controller on your shoulders, the Xbox original as a backpack, and now you're seeing the cat ears. Again, kind of walking back on their words ever so slightly, but long story short, Tenrai event is much better now, which is awesome to see. So just wanted to spotlight that in today's video, and again, round up another Xbox news video for the week. So ladies and gentlemen, what a start to 2022. Again, it's only going to get crazier from here on out, so I'm excited to see what exactly happens. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I leave this all in your hands. What do you think about the latest Xbox news? Fire away in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.